This is brought to you by my friends at allfreecrochet.com. Here we go with part 2 of the Squid Kid video, and in this part we're going to make the head, the fins on the side of the head, and then add the eyes and then sew it all together. To make the head, you're going to start out just like when you made the legs. You made that little disc, remember that part? Only you're going to add a lot more increases to make this disc flat and a lot bigger across. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 2 single crochets. I just did 2, and then an increase, then 2 single crochets, 1 over in the next hole, 2, then an increase. That's 2 single crochets in one space. And you're going to keep going on like that around until you get the diameter of the head. Now if your piece starts to curl up like that, you're going to want to add even more increases. So wherever it starts to look a little curvy, throw in another increase. The goal is to make it more or less flat, like this. Okay, now, if you can see on here, it's about the right size. So I'm going to keep going until I'm 3.5 inches across. From this point, it's 3.5 inches across, so I'm just going to single crochet from now on until the head is as long as I want it to be. And it'll start to cup inward and form sides like a tube. So just keep going around. Now for stuffing, I use the white polyester fiberfill. It's clean and it's easily shaped into the form you want. In this day and age, there's actually some better alternatives that are more biodegradable, so you might want to look into that. And some of the DIY crafters, the do-it-yourself crafters, they use dryer lint, which is clean when you think about it once it comes out of the dryer. Or they use the end snippings of the plastic bags to fill it up with. And those will both work. I'm a little leery of that if I'm selling things to families with children, because moms are really, they want clean and new, and so I stick with the white stuff. But, if what you have on hand is lint or clippings, go for it. I'm going to show you how to make these side fins here. So I'm going to pretend I need another one on the back of the head here, which I don't, but I'm just pretending. Now assuming I want the fin right here, I'm going to pull up a loop in the body of the squid. And this is a really cool technique for adding parts to hats or scarves, anywhere you want an extra detail. Okay, I pulled up one chain. I'm going to chain through that one. And then I'm going to just go down the line, pulling up a loop, making a single crochet, pulling up a loop, making a single crochet, and I'm covering up the spare end as I go so I won't have to sew it in later. For these, it looks like I double crocheted down and then came back up the other way. So you can do them single crochet, you can do them double crochet, however you want to make them. Okay, I went and got a wooden spoon out of the kitchen, and here's my stuffing. So going to pull out a bit of stuffing, break it up a little if you need to, and here's my leg. Well, let's do the little one. Alright, going to get it started with my fingertip, and use your spoon to push that into there. Right. And when this is all filled up, I like to take it between my hands. Here's the finished one. And I like to go like this to help round it out. It really helps to get the shape back where I want it. Now don't overstuff it. If you overstuff it, the holes get bigger and bigger, and next thing you know, the white stuff, you can see it right through the... To a degree, you can always see it through a little bit because it's fairly thick yarn, but, you know, don't get carried away. You don't want, like, really, that's a little fat right there, see what I mean? So don't get too carried away. Some people actually like the feel of not stuffing it at all. They just like that kind of floppy feeling. So you might go with that, depending on what you're looking for. And the next thing is finishing each part and sewing the whole thing together. So I'm going to be doing that in a minute. Now to seal up the bottom part, what I'm thinking of doing is this. Making a little plus shape and then whip stitching over each little like along here together and then along here together. And that way I can put a leg, a leg, a leg, a leg. So one leg on each point and one leg in each valley. So that's what I'm going to aim at here. We'll see if that works. Here I have some eyes I've chosen. These are actually frog eyes, but I like them. I'm going to put those on. I've decided to put the eyes like there, so hang on, I'll put that eye in. Here's what the back looks like. That goes up inside, carefully, carefully, and let's see if I can get a hold of it there, and then it pushes on. And the package says these are not even safe for under 3 years old, so just keep that in mind who you're making this for. There's one eye. Now do the other one. And here goes the other eye. I'll show you the inside. Put the little backing on. Push. And make sure you don't get any of the other crochet stitches hung up in there. Push gently until it locks in. And there we go. I think things always come to life when you put the eyes on. He's looking more squiddly already. Now I'm going to sew in some of these ends, and I always leave my ends extra long because you can use that bit to overcast everything together. So if I just pulled this, it would all just totally come undone. So you have to put your ends through and then tighten it to keep it from unraveling. Once you do that, you can go ahead and sew it together. Alright, here I am stitching up, and I just like to do that overcast stitch. And I'm going to do it like that, like I said before, so it's going to be an interesting shape. If that's too complicated, you can sew it straight across. It'll look a little different, but it'll work. So I'm going to finish sewing that up. Now here's a little trick. I actually threaded this new piece of yarn, and instead of tying it on the very end like you'd think, I'm going to tie it in the middle, like so. Make a good knot there. And that way I can use this end to sew this direction and this end to sew another direction. Now I'm not going to cut these ends off at all yet because I'm going to use them to sew on the legs. I do sew around each leg twice because kids like to swing things by the legs, no matter how you wish that they would just be gentle with your fine work. They will be dragging this thing around by the legs, I can guarantee it. So I do sew around everything twice. There we go, just sewing around. Like I said, I'm going to sew one leg to each little point I made, and then I'm going to sew one in between. So that's 8. And then on the side here, I actually made little buttonholes, which I don't really think are necessary to sew the tentacle parts on like little arms. So that's up to you. In the end, I don't think you really need that hole. But this is a prototype, and decisions are made as you go around, so got to be flexible. Alright, can't really sew well at this weird of an angle for the camera, so I'll go ahead and turn this off and finish sewing the legs on. Alright, I have the first 4 legs on, and these are on all the points of that thing I did. And then I'm going to add them right here and right here. So in between each leg is another leg. It's looking more like a squid now. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Sounds like it's time for ice cream, so enjoy making your squid. And here's my squid. And if you have any comments, be sure to leave them below. Toodles!